What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Bear With Us podcast. Immediate reaction to the Bears getting blown out by the Cowboys. I'm solo today. Jack isn't feeling well. He's got the flu or whatever the hell's going around these days. So let's hope he feels better and just adjusting my camera and ready for our full episode that'll release on Wednesday. Couple of quick hitting things. I won't be too long. I'm trying to keep this to 10 minutes or under. One, the offense continues to make strides. I, at this point, am comfortable saying Justin Fields is the best quarterback from his draft class as it stands. I don't think it's particularly close. Mac Jones and Zach Wilson look bad. Trevor Lawrence has had some ups and downs, but they invested this offseason to get some weapons around him. And if you grade on a curve, I think Justin's looked better overall this year. So huge W there. Justin has looked really good for the last 3 weeks at least. A couple of things on the offensive side, though. Luke Getsy has done well probably the last 5 weeks, 4 or 5 weeks. But he gets into this habit when they get down that he continues to run the ball. And, in the first half, or even like the early third quarter, mid third quarter, I get it. You're still only down 14 or 10 in some of these games. So you're running the ball. You're still setting up play action. But you're down by like 20 in the fourth quarter. Just let's start throwing the ball. What the hell are we doing? Let's just start taking chances. And I continue to go back to the Packers game when we were down, I think 17, and Matt LaFleur after the game was like, you know what? I take my hat off to Luke Getsy for sticking with the game plan. And I think Luke Getsy said something about, the amount of people that they had in the box, and that was why he was continuing to run the ball. And I'm thinking like, dude, they're fucking up double digits. Like, of course they're running nickel. Of course they're not crowding the box. So they're letting you run the ball to run out the clock. And I, someone made a funny tweet. They were like, I'm choosing to believe that Luke Getsy is doing this to protect Justin Fields. And maybe that's the case, but all in all, that's my biggest problem right now with Luke Getsy. And that's probably the only problem that I have with Luke Getsy. He's done very well overall this year. But it's games like this that I continue to hearken back on not drafting a receiver in the second round. I'm still annoyed by that because even if Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon were absolute studs, I don't know if that makes that big of a difference this year on defense versus the development of a young, talented quarterback like Justin Fields. You get Alec Pierce or you get George Pickens, I think that only heightens that. I think that expedites that. I think that continues to unlock something in Justin Fields and higher that ceiling and even lower the floor. Because again, we're giving up 40-something points. We can't stop the run. And on offense, you're seeing Velus Jones drop absolute dimes down the field. You're seeing Equinemius St. Brown drop a really good pass. And then also on an underthrown ball, not fight for it like you see other receivers do in the league and either get a pass interference or just straight up catch the ball. So it's like, again, if we're going to, against good to elite offenses, if we're going to give up this type of yardage and these types of points, I can live with that in a rebuild year. What I can't live with is, not picking a weapon for Justin Fields in the second round of the NFL draft, and if we're going to lose this way. Like, it's so I know I continue to go back on that, and I sound a little bit repetitive, but that will continue to bother me until hopefully next offseason when we, have all our draft picks and we have all this cap and we actually surround him with something. But again, I can't stress enough how good Justin Fields has looked and how impressive he's looked. And I think not for nothing, this whole team, I know they wound up losing by 20 points, but they didn't give up at all this game. They were down big early. They came back, cut it to 5, and then obviously Tony Pollard just sort of took over the game there. But I like what they have going. I really do. I like this coaching staff. I like a lot of the foundational pieces on this team. I don't know if there are that many, but the ones that I think we have identified thus far, I like. Let's shift to the defense really quick. What am I at here? I'm 4 minutes. I'm making good time. You start looking at what we have. I'm not mad at the Robert Quinn trade. I don't think we had a chance to touch on that he got traded after our last podcast. I love the haul that we got back for him. 4th round pick. That's very good for the production he was, having this year as a Bear. That being said, without Robert Quinn being on the field, even with his lack of production, defenses now no longer have to account for him. So the pass rush has gotten worse, even though, again, he wasn't doing much. But you have to sort of take into account what offenses were doing to actually stop him. Now that attention is divvied up across, to Trevis Gibson and Dominique Robinson, Al-Qadim Muhammad, and just all the other pass rushers, because the best one isn't there anymore. So I'm anticipating the pass rush looking like this for the rest of the year unless someone truly steps up. And I just don't know if they have the talent yet. Trevis Gibson is good. I think he's more a rotational pass rusher. Dominique Robinson is a project, so we really don't know. And Al-Qadim Muhammad is Al-Qadim Muhammad. He's been a disappointment thus far. This was another bad Roquan Smith game. When we're facing teams that have any sort of, identity with the run game, he looks lost. He doesn't hit gaps. He can't get off blocks. He doesn't seem to be working off of instinct like he was in that Vic Fangio defense. Maybe it's the scheme. Going from a 4-3, going from a 3-4 to a 4-3 is probably a big adjustment for him. But again, there's just certain times where it's like, what would Shaq Leonard do in that situation? Or Brian Urlacher in his prime? Like, you sort of think of these guys, I don't care what the scheme is. I think elite talent would sort of show itself. And he's only really had 2 good games this year. And everything else has been blah at best, if you don't feel like being harsh on him. But it's not just him. All the other linebackers aren't very good either. You look at a lot of these crossing patterns, a lot of this, the tight end sitting down in the zone against the Bears. That's a lot of the linebackers' responsibility, and they have not looked very good at all. So I'm sort of, getting a ranking together of what the positional needs going into the offseason. Linebacker is pretty high on the list because you might need 3 of them. Like, maybe you tag Roquan Smith or you come to some sort of agreement that isn't getting him $20 million a year, which he probably won't sign. But, for the sake of argument, you need 2 of them at least, because Morrow and Sandberg, whoever else we're throwing out there, it's not working. They have not been good stopgap pieces. Brisker continues to look really good. That kid has a chance to be really, really special. Kyler Gordon got picked on a little bit earlier, him and Kendall Vildor. He cleaned it up a little bit in the second half, but this was not as good of a game as his last 2. Granted, progress isn't linear, so I'm not saying, all of a sudden, he's a bum or anything like that. But, I would like to continue to see him make progress versus have these sort of hiccup type of games. My parting thought here. I know people are upset with Velus Jones. He should have caught that ball. There's no mistake. I'm not going to sit here and act like he shouldn't have or play devil's advocate of any kind. But him and Justin Fields are the only 2 explosive weapons on this offense. Look at what happens when they get Velus Jones the ball on offense. That end around, he is explosive. That quick passes, he is very, very explosive. And I don't know... It's a positive for him because I think he's really good with the ball in his hands. I know a lot of people gave his ceiling could be Deebo Samuel. I don't know if he'll ever reach that, but you can see the prototype. You can see the mold of what he can do with the ball in his hands. But that just makes me look at everyone else, including Darnell Mooney. Darnell Mooney is a solid receiver. He's probably a wide receiver 2 or 3. But it's like when they try to give him, a quick slant or a quick out, he didn't have that. And no one else does. Dante Pettis doesn't have it. EQ doesn't have it. Cole Kmet certainly doesn't have it. We need to surround Justin with more explosive talent. It just is what it is because this team lacks explosion, even with the running backs. Khalil Herbert is good. Montgomery is good. It wouldn't shock me next year if they draft a running back in the 2nd or 3rd round that just completely takes this team over. Imagine, an offense with upgraded weapons. I'm not saying, we go out and get like an A.J. Brown. I'm just saying better than what we have now. Hopefully they get a legitimate wide receiver 1 somehow. But then you couple that with a Kenneth Walker. Look how much more explosive Kenneth Walker looks than our running backs. And it's not to say our running backs are bad. They have been good. They just don't give you that next level of... I don't even know what I keep using the word explosiveness because that's what it is, but it's they're not playmakers. They're not game changers. They don't have that ability. They're good. They can get you, 5 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry. but they don't give you that Breece Hall type of feel. They don't give you that Kenneth Walker. Even like watch the Panthers. Look at what Dante Foreman's doing. They don't give you that. And I think, and it's not isolating the running backs. I sort of picked on them at the end, but no one does outside of Justin Fields. And again, when they do decide to give Velus Jones the ball. So it's going to be curious to see what this offseason looks like, but these are the types of losses I'm okay with. I'm not annoyed. I'm not upset. I don't care what happens on the defense. I want Brisker and Gordon to continue to look good. I want the young guys on the defensive line to continue to get reps. But if they give up 30 a game for the rest of the year, I don't care. As long as Justin Fields is making progress, as long as he continues to look good, I'm good. If we can come out of this year with knowing that Justin Fields is the franchise guy, that's a W for me. And God damn it, what are we, 8 games through the year, 9 games through the year, whatever the hell it is. My math is awful. Anyway, I'm also a little bit discombobulated. I've stood up late the last couple of days playing the new Call of Duty. But if he's looked like the franchise guy, and if we can leave the year with him healthy and us knowing that he is the franchise dude, I'm completely okay with that. That's it for me. I've went past the 10-minute mark, and my apologies for that. But remember to like, share, subscribe. Full episode is coming on Wednesday. Jack will be here, hopefully. If not, I'll roll solo again. Later, y'all.